Hi, Viola.
Okay, we are live.
Thank you, Sebastian. So again, welcome everybody, welcome dear colleagues to our second instance event of our WFTGA Association Journeys 2021 or 2021. And it is really about the associations, our members being present here. So a very quick introduction just from me. My name is Viola Lewis. I'm an Expo member, and I'm handing over to my colleague and Vice President of the WFTGA Expo, Sebastian Frankenberger. And also let me introduce Marika Donato, who is our Global Brand Ambassador and who will be today's Master of Ceremony. So enjoy, dear colleagues. Let's listen to what our members have to say around the world. Over to you, yes. Sebastian.
Thank you, Viola, for the introduction, and welcome everybody. Everybody here in the room, everybody in the World Wide Web, on Facebook, on YouTube. Thanks for joining us for this, I think, 1.5 to 2 hours session about what was the association's journey 2021. I will be a little bit the technician in the back end. So Marika, today it's you are the facilitator. You are introducing our presenters, so I would hand over to you. Thank you, Marika.
Okay, thank you both, Viola and Sebastian, and greetings everyone. Greetings wherever you're calling from. I'm Marika Donato, calling from Washington, D.C. in the U.S. So I welcome you to our part 2 of the association journeys. And today we have about 8 associations that have been lined up to present, and we have the association of let's see, the Sabah Tourist Guide Association, who will be presented by Grace Leon. We have the National Federation of Tourist Guide Association USA, who will be represented by our president Ellen Malasky. We have the Tourist Guide Association of Toronto, represented by President James Saunders. We have the Hungarian Tourist Guide Association, represented by Christina Tamasi. Then we have the Association of Tourist Guides from Québec, represented by Claude Beauchamp. We have the Russian Tourist Guide Association, Moscow, presented by Elena Forminki. And we have the Scottish Tourist Guide Association, presented by Lynn Brown. And lastly, we have the Professional Tourist Guides of London. And I welcome everyone who is on the call. May I just remind you, for the presenters, that we may not exceed 10 minutes. I will give you a 1-minute warning, so that may you please do your wrap-up sentence, and we will address questions to the association presenting. You may be reminded that this session is being recorded and will be shared on all the WFTGA platforms. Also, photos will be taken during the broadcast, and it will be shared in all our social media platforms as well. So just to give you a recap of the purpose of the session, this is an opportunity to share your challenges that you have faced this year from your association and your membership point of view. It is also an opportunity to share your success stories. We realize that many of you have embarked on wonderful internal journeys and projects, and we look forward to you sharing this with our members and tourist guides around the globe. This program presents us with on an environment to inspire, to learn, to acknowledge, and support one another. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce the Tourist Guide Association from Sabah. Grace, the virtual floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. Good evening, because I'm from Malaysia, so it is evening now. I'm from Sabah Touristic Association. My name is Grace, and we are actually from Malaysia. So today we're going to show you, or rather present to you, what we have been doing for the last few months, especially during this pandemic, and what are we looking forward to. All right. So without further ado, yes, all of us know that during COVID-19 pandemic, it has been already 1.5 years, coming to 2 years now. So why do you think that I have all these fruits and food that is on the scene, or rather on my presentation? It is because during this time, our guys were totally out of jobs. Yeah. So because out of jobs, so they went for some part-time doing some bakeries. They even sell fruits, and we are talking about food as well. All kinds of food, yeah, even beverage, and they home cooked food and so forth. So it has been quite difficult, I would say, and it's not just us, and I think that is all over the world we are having that problem. So but there are some of us who are actually doing quite well, right? So we have some of our guides, they have changed their profession. They went into real estate, property sales, and so forth, and they were doing quite well. But there are others who are not so well. They have to be Uber, Grab cars, you name it, we have it. Yeah, so they were all doing part-time, and some of them were very, very difficult, going through very difficult time. So because it's not all of them, so our association, we decided to come up with some strategies to help them. Yeah, first of all is that in terms of welfare, we wanted to give assistance to alleviate the members' dire situation during this period. We also have what we call encouragement. We have encouragement to help them to stay in the guiding profession, because we don't want them to leave this tour guiding profession, the professionalism that we have, so that they can retain their license. We want to give them the encouragement. And we still want to remember, even though we are going through tough time, there are other people who are going through tough time as well. So we want to help our community as well. And lastly, also under number 4, we want to retrain and equip the guides with new guiding skills so that they can achieve new and higher boundaries. So how are we going to do that in terms of welfare? We give food baskets. Yeah, we actually, because our association have only 600 over members, there are about 500 over really need help. So what we did was that we give away food baskets, yeah, where we have all the goodies in the baskets, and we give it to them individually, yeah. And what else do we do? We actually get our, you can say, it's really request and appeal to our government to give monetary assistance. Though it is not much, but we are talking about in terms of this kind of assistance is an encouragement to all of us. Yeah, so we were able to get some money, we'll say, assistance from the government to help us out. And the encouragement from us to get them to the guides to stay in the guiding profession, we did a few things. Number 1 is that we get the government to give us a free license renewal. So they don't have to pay for any license fee for this year. And we also give them free membership and personal accident insurance for this year as well, which is free. And from education, because every year we need to have 3, we call it CTRE, a short education subjects that they need to have compulsory for our guides for renewal of their license. So we give 8 courses free. So they need 3. So everyone actually have a chance to get 3 certificates, which is free. And then we also have online courses. Yeah, all courses are actually all done online, so that we can also cut down the cost, and we don't have to meet face-to-face because of the standard operation procedures that we need to face. Yeah, so these are some of the certificates that we issue out for those who attend. And in fact, a lot of them has actually participated in this. So these are some of them that you can see that they actually went for the course for online course. And our part to help the community, what we did was that we actually even help those who are not our members, because there are some of we call it mountain guides, those climbers, yeah, who bring climbers up the mountain, our highest mountain in Malaysia. So we also give them assistance in terms of food basket to help them as well during this time. And we even give assistance to clean up houses of the victims of flood victims. Now, why was that so? But during this pandemic, it's not just pandemic. We even have floods because of monsoon season. So it was very difficult for some of the people here. So we give assistance to help them. So these are the food basket that we give to the mountain guides. And the cleaning. This is the one that the cleaning up the flood victims' houses. So we all gathered together and really helped to clean up the houses because it was really to give them some encouragement. And apart from that, we also, yes, during the International Tourist Guide Day on the 21st of February, we also came out with a collection of all the used clothing and so forth to help the poor so that we can distribute, especially to all the flood victims during that period of time as well. So that is a day for us to remember that we come together to help during the International Tourist Guide Day. Now, we also retrain and equip with new guiding skills to help them to reach new and higher boundaries. We conduct compulsory, we call it the compulsory confirmation courses with a 40% discount because all our guides, after 2 years of guiding, they need to go through these confirmation courses. It's a compulsory course by the government. So we did this for 2 courses already for this year for the guides, and about 90 of them has already taken the course. And that's another thing. I think all of us will be very interested in this, and that is the online guided tour. We have been actually planning this for quite a few months. And finally, we really come to this because we also have attended the WFTGA online guided tour training as well. But we did a very comprehensive here in Sabah. So what we did was that we did this, yeah, to equip the members with new skill, to really help them, to push them to go online to earn a living. Yeah. So this is really to help them. So we conduct that, and our first batch of 30 members completed a 10-session course in both theory and practical, which will really help them out on just very recently on the 8th of October. So they are completed and graduated with 30 members. But not all, because we target at least 200 of our members to be equipped by December. So we are continuously doing that. So our next course will be on the 26th of this month. We're going to do another 2 weeks to give them, to really train them so that they will be ready to go online. And this is fully supported by our Sabah state government. They were fully and strongly really behind us with all this, yeah, so that our guides can have a way out in earning a living, even now as a tourist guide. Yeah. So these are some of the things that we did. We even have a handbook that is compiled for them with a certificate, and these are all the online guides, people that we have. I am going very fast because, right, apart from this right now, what I'm going to show you is that what is the end product that we have. It's only a few seconds. You can see this. Just a minute. Very fast video.
You are not longer screen sharing.
Yes, I am. You see that?
Hi, I am
Grace, 1 minute.
Right. So I've already done. That was actually the last part, was just to show you what our guides has actually been doing for the last the 30 participants for the OOGT. And they've done a very good job, I would say. If you can go onto our online Facebook, Sabah Tourist Guide Association online guided tour, you will see all of them in action now. So we are very pleased that we can help them. So that's it. I would like to say very thank you for watching our presentation. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for that story and sharing your journey with us. Thank you. We learned a lot during this 10-minute presentation. Thank you. Now, do we have any questions for Grace on the chat, Viola?
No, there are no questions.
Okay, thank you. Do the presenters have any questions for Grace? If you do, let us know. Otherwise, we're going to move on to our second association, the National Federation of Tourist Guide Association, USA. Ellen Malasky, President.
I think, am I still muted?
No, you're fine, Ellen. We can hear
Oh,
you.
okay. So my thing says the host is going to unmute me. Okay. Good morning, everybody, or good morning from us. It's early in the morning here in Washington, D.C. We are, I think I think many of you know that the, oops, I'm sorry. Well, for some reason my slides are not moving. Okay, that the National Federation of Tourist Guide Associations of USA, that we are an umbrella association. So we are not one association, we are an umbrella of 22 associations around the US. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what's doing in the US, because each association is doing their own things. And I can tell you a little bit about some of what some of us have been doing. But one thing to let you know, why does this not want to move?
Go to escape.
I'm sorry. Escape? Okay, I'll try this again.
Just put the mouse over the slides, perhaps then it's moving.
There we go. For some reason, just to let you know, COVID in the US, like the rest of the world, it's been quite devastating. This is an art project that was done to show that at the point they actually finished this art project, there were over 700,000 flags that were put up, so that the people that recognize that the people that have died were not statistics. Many of them had names on them, and to show that around the country people are doing different things. U.S. itself, the United States, we don't have particular regulations that are federal regulations. Again, in the U.S. Tourism is not regulated. There is no Department of Tourism. It's regulated by the states to some degree, or by the cities themselves. And so there are not particular federal regulations about a number of parts of some things that could be happening, but we do have ones regarding masks. You have to wear masks on public transportation. That is a law that came out. So that includes buses, tour buses, as well as any public buses. And that in terms of the executive branch, they have passed some regulations, or some actual executive orders, that people who work for the federal government need to wear masks, or as well as the military, and they need to show that they are vaccinated. And if they have not shown that they're vaccinated, they have, or if they're not vaccinated, then they have to show a reason why, if they have an agreement. So about the impact of COVID on us, on the US, and on our tour guides, well, most of them are independent contractors. So you can imagine it's been devastating. There's been little income or benefit since mid-March of 2020. It's starting to pick up a little, but it's been quite difficult. And unemployment benefits in the US are determined by the state or by the city in which you live. And so they're different amounts, different percentages by the city. The federal government was enhancing unemployment benefits. People were getting an extra $600 a week for a period of time, and then they were getting an extra. When that ended, it ended up being an extra $300 a week, which was a tremendous help to guides. But then that has ended in August. And so now there are no particular subsidy to the guides. So it's only many guides are still replying, or still, if they're still eligible, are still having to use the unemployment for their particular jurisdiction. So things are looking up slowly in the US, and this is what's been happening. Personal travel has looked up. A lot of people, we call it revenge travel. People are wanting to see get out a little bit. Sometimes they're getting out in an area where they can be driving. They're often taking their families that were unable to get out, or kids, especially students that were unable to take trips in the past. They may be taking them to a city or to an area nearby. So personal travel is certainly picking up. Business travel is not picking up particularly. It is slowly, but not as fast as we would hope it would be, especially for those of us that work with a lot of people going to conferences. Conferences are really slow and happening. And if they are happening, they have to have tremendous restrictions in terms of certainly, again, vaccination, showing your vaccination card, showing your wearing masks, showing that you've had COVID tests. International travel, unfortunately, the U.S. has been very small. Our borders are just opening up on November 1st. So that's going to be something that's hopefully will increase international travel. Our border with Canada is still not open for Canadians coming to the U.S. So it's really hurt the travel industry, and that in turn has hurt, obviously, the guides. Even travel opening on November 1st, again, for many cities, many places across the world, if people are in need of visas, it's taking between 6 and 9 months to get a visa. So it's been a difficult time. Just a little bit again, bus tours, our student tours are happening very slowly. There are many parts of the country that rely tremendously on student tours, DC, New York, Chicago, and those are happening slowly. Adult tours are happening more. When I hear people are very busy in parts of the country. In Utah, it's very busy with people going to the national parks. San Antonio was very busy. I hear that from them. New Orleans was, unfortunately, the flood has curtailed a lot of that. Charleston is very busy. So a lot of places that people can get to and that are more of adult tours, those are very busy. Some of the cities that we're talking to in DC, we're looking at people say that about 40% of our people think that have something happening for next year. So far, and hopefully that'll start to pick up. We rely on cruise ships in many of the cities across the country. San Diego said the cruise ships are coming back in, and so they're getting busy. But in Baltimore, the cruise ships are not in yet. And again, one of the things that's been really busy has been private and walking tours. People are outside, so they can take off the masks. And people are coming in families. So those are the ones that seem to be in some areas that are in some of, especially the cities in Washington, DC, and in New York and in Chicago. Those are the tours that seem to be picking up a little bit more than the other tours that are the bus tours that are still regulated with again mask mandates and for the drivers as well as for the passengers, and trying to seat people apart from each other. So what does that mean for NFTGA? Well, again, we're an umbrella organization. We have basically a 7-member board, and the board is who runs the organization. So each of our organizations does their own work with their association members. One of the advantages, I think, one of the good things that came out of this was that we have monthly leadership calls where we do have the opportunity to share ideas and information. I just like the information I just heard, and I want to think about some things that we can share with our associations in terms of the gift baskets and the helping out. We do, again, different associations do different things. We in Washington, D.C., we always have the Guild gives back, and we do certain things through the year. We've been unable to do our normal projects this year because it's been things like cleaning the wall at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial and all, and that has not been available for us to. It's available to see, but not available to us to do the projects around it. There have been, at a national basis, we have presented and co-sponsored a number of webinars. Again, each of our associations is doing their own. Most of them are doing virtual programs. Some of them are starting to come back to live programming, especially if it could be outside. And of course, it's been a beautiful summer, and so we've been able to do some activities outside. We do advocating for guides and tourism through some of the national and industry associations. There are some very large associations in the U.S. There's the American Bus Association. There's a NTA, National Tourist Guide Tourism Travel Association. There's U.S. Travel. They're all associations. Again, they're not government entities, but they're associations, and they are advocating for guides and for tourism, and mostly for tourism, and then from that for the guides to we can get our work through it. One of the things we did have to do was we did have to postpone our NFTGA conference. We typically do a biennial conference, and this would have been the year that we were going to do it in 2022.
1 minute.
San Antonio. Thanks, Maricar. We have postponed that. We wanted, it's, all volunteers work on these conferences. We have a lot of wonderful activities they have planned that are outside, and we didn't want to feel that it would be a limited participation because of people having to show their vaccination card to get their all the activities. It wouldn't make it as much fun as it should be, wearing masks when you're trying to do some party things. So we decided it would be best to postpone until 2023. We will be doing some things in 2022, such as on the day the day we were to have our conference, we're going to have a talk by Rick Steves is going to do a virtual talk for us. And so we'll do some things in 2022, and then 2023, when hopefully tourism will be picking up, guiding will be picking up, and people will want to come and celebrate in San Antonio. And that's what the future looks like. Hopefully, what I hear from the associations, political associations, and again, a number of the associations, the business associations, is 2022, things will get a little better. Hotels especially is what we've been find things out about it. Many have gone out of business. Looking to the future, we do think that 2023 things will get stronger, and they're saying 2024 is when we hope things will get back to the 2019. And that is really quickly what's doing in the US of A.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ellen, for that very interesting story sharing and how you learned from the gift baskets that you want to implement also to your association.
That's why we love to hear this. That's some wonderful things that we learn that we can share with our associations.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Okay, and do we have any questions in the chat, Viola?
I don't.
No questions.
Okay, and do the presenters have any questions for Ellen and our NFTGA? If not, we move on to Toronto. Let us go to Canada. So representing the Tourist Guide Association of Toronto is the President, James Saunders. James, the virtual floor is yours.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Toronto on this lovely morning. We decided to do things a little bit differently. So rather than just being the chair of the association, I talk about what I thought was important. We put out an email to our members and said to the members what is important that we've done this year. So it's an interesting thing, standing as the president, instead of what I'm proud that we've done, this is feedback I've got from my actual members. And I'm at the end of my term as the president, and I was very happy to get some very good feedback from our members. Biggest thing we did, implemented wild apricot. If you don't know about this and you need some help, give me a shout. It, believe it or not, is a Canadian-based company, and it hosts our website. It allows me to manage our membership. We're just up to collecting dues this year. That will all be virtually automated. Manages emails. I had to send out a couple of emails yesterday. It goes out to all the members. I can see everything that's going on. So it's a fantastic system. Manages our events. I posted 3 events yesterday, and it allows us to post out the events, find out who's doing things, who's signed up for things. And also we're having an outside event. If I have to cancel at the last minute, I can send a quick email to everybody through this, and it goes to the people who registered. Collects funds for us that we're just setting up at the moment, that we can catch membership, events, and so on. But the big thing it does is, most of us are members of boards. We get tied up that somebody has to go and collect a check and collect cash and take it to the bank. Somebody has to do this, deal with the mail. It saves the board members time, and we can spend more time helping our members rather than just running the association itself. Come on, there we go. That's what our website looks like. And again, you can have a little look. And then the other big thing that came up, we used to be the CTGA, Canadian Tour Guide Association of Toronto. We had a lot of confusion with the California tomato growers. We had problems with this, we had problems with that. So we decided to take control of our name and rebrand ourselves and, hey, we are of Toronto. We want you to find us under Toronto. We are Toronto. We are your resource for Toronto. Anything Toronto, come and see us. The other thing, we decided we had some very old names for what people did. So we wanted to clarify job titles. So what's a guide, new member, emeritus, and so on. And with that, we put our hand in our pocket and we paid for some very pretty new badges. Oh, look, there's the presidents. That's just the sample one. We put who we used to be. We put World Federation. And one of the things we do is we collect funds every 2 years if you want, which again makes our administration a lot easier. And from the pictures that people put on Wild Apricot, I can feed them directly into the badge company to print the a professional looking badge. The biggest thing I think we've done, and this is what I got the most input from, was the fact that we are doing monthly Zoom meetings. We try and have 3 Zoom meetings a month. That way we're reaching out and we're helping our guides' mental health. So we have a pure social, just get together. We had one yesterday. It was Canadian Thanksgiving. I sat here, had a coffee, and I had about 6 of my members happily chattering away. I can't underestimate how important that is. We've split guiding as 2 things. Pure education. We had this speaker from the World Federation. Her name's Viola. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she did a pure educational one. And then we also get speakers on a regular basis, building up our local knowledge. So breaking out guiding, skills, and local knowledge. And we've tried all 3 things. We've tried stuff every single month. Feedback has been fantastic. We are not licensed here in Toronto. So in 2020, we took control of our own certification program, and we added to that this year. We did something, and I was on a call the other day with some other people. We've gone the opposite way to a lot of people. If you're fully certified under our program, we've discounted your membership. We've discounted your outings costs as well. And we've got a better web coverage for our certified guides. It does make a difference. Their badges are colored. It says certified guide. So instead of charging them more, we're charging them less. We've had a couple of people complain, why do I have to pay more? Educate yourself, the price will come down. It will pay off your certification in 5 years. So on the whole, we've had pretty good impact. And in fact, in the last week, when people have been reminded about money, a lot of people are suddenly very interested that they could save money by becoming certified. We've had a membership drive. We, over the last 12 months since I last did this, we have a total of 6 new members. Now, that doesn't sound very impressive until you find out that we've only got just over 100 members. And then as a percentage, that is pretty good. Outings, we haven't had any inside outings, but we've got one because we are from a mixture of backgrounds. We have what we call our holiday outing, and that's going to be our first big one. We've got in touch with the AGTQ Foundation. We're working very closely with them. So we've got a big inside visit right at the end of November, beginning of December. And then we've had a couple of outside outings, and that have been done, those have been done by our members. So one member has done one area of the city, one did graffiti. And then on top of that as well, we've done the social ones. So finishing off on something, you know, pretty happy. We've had picnics. We meet in the park. Everyone brings their own lunch. If you end up as the president, you have to make cookies for everybody. That's my stove. I made bread. I made sandwiches for a few. I made cookies for everybody else. Funny enough, when I came home, there were no cookies left. But it's getting together, making sure that every single one of our members feels that they're important. There's a picnic. Yes, we do have a beach in Toronto, contrary to belief. It isn't that big. The picture makes it look way more impressive. We've got another picnic coming up, and basically reach out and touch. This was our educational outing. We've got a couple of islands in Toronto, and they're famous as sort of artist ghettos. That we've got an artistic community there, and that was our outside visit. And one other little thing, some of you who are members of the boards, you might want to do, we set up an email address, theboard@tgat.ca. If you want to contact me, you can use that. But one email address contacts the whole board in one go. So instead of president at, treasurer at, and so on, the board at, if you got a gripe, if you've got a complaint, if you've got something to say, it goes to that one address. So please contact us if we can help you. We've stuck on the happy side of things, and on the whole, I've got to say, my membership has been very happy. I don't know if it's the fact that I end up as not being the president in November. That could have helped them being happy. Thank you very much for your time and your effort, and please feel free to contact me. Any questions, please ask, and I think I've come in well under my 10 minutes.
Yes, you have. Thank you very much, James. That was wonderful. I love those little cookies, the picnic in the park concept. That is wonderful.
Anytime you come to Toronto, I'll cook you a good meal and I'll make you cookies.
Oh, definitely. We want to taste you should share your recipe with us. I think it's fabulous.
Oh, we're putting that up on our members only area. We're sharing recipes. So we've got a recipe share and a restaurant share that
yes.
We're just setting that up. So anybody who is from a certain ethnic background tells us where the best restaurant is for that ethnic food in Toronto. And because that has come from a Hungarian, we know it's good. So rather than saying my favorite Hungarian restaurant is, we've got it from a member who is actually ethnically Hungarian. So it's a boon as well. And this is all through interaction. So we want to be on the positive side. There's too much gloom and doom out there.
Yeah. So thank you for that story. So speaking of Hungary, we're now moving to our Hungarian Tourist Guide Association. And our presenter is Christina Tamasi. Is that correct, Christina?
Yes, you say Tamasi. No problem. Yes. I understand that. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. And let me just start. Yes, I hope you can see it. That's right. Okay, so we have two associations in Hungary. The other one is called MIZ, M-I-S-Z. It's a little bit, they had their speech already last week, and we are the second one. We have just a short brush up from last year. You might not remember. We have about over 14,000 tourist guides in Hungary, but only 4,500 are active in the country. And to go lower, for about 4,000 who are living and from Budapest and surrounding. Here you can see the country. We are in Europe, and a little bit a bigger perspective from the land that you can imagine where we are from. So we had a great doings in the last year. We were quite active. The tourism started in Hungary about in July. But for some people, it started in May as well, because we received a possibility with the so-called cards, vaccination cards, and those who had it could already start going outwards and going to restaurants and everywhere already in May. Those who didn't have the card for it, or didn't have the vaccination, or were not ill from the COVID, so they were over the COVID, they recovered, so to say. They were only allowed to sit on the terraces of the restaurants, and so immediately all restaurants had a terrace. From the beginning of July, all regulations stopped. We didn't need any masks any longer, and we could go visit museums, theaters, and thermal spas without regulations. And everybody was allowed to come into the country with a PCR test. which is not older than 74 hours or 72 hours. It's interesting to see that since about a week the season is almost like, looks like April in normal times. So a lot of tourists arrive in the country, mostly business or individually. I myself have quite a lot of tourists in the last weeks. So I can say that I'm a lucky person, because from 2 to 3 guidings per week, it's almost became a normal, so to say, which is of course not for normal times, but for now, for the pandemic normal. Then we have the domestic tourism started to flourish mostly in the summer months, July, August, September a little bit, and it is picking up very fast for the October as well. The countryside hotels were fully booked in the summer seasons because we had a very hot summer, over 35 centigrade sometimes. And Budapest hotels were filled up with more tourists this year than last year, because we received certain events which were held mostly in the capital. For example, football European Championship, which some of the matches were held in Hungary. Mostly individual guests arrived for cheering their champions. In the beginning of September, then we received the Eurocaristic Congress, which is an international Christian meeting, held mostly in Budapest side. So we received about 100,000 visitors, mostly from Hungarians. Even the Pope Francis visited us on the last day of this Congress, and he was here for a few hours, holding a mass. What was rather unfortunate was that for some traveling information didn't go overseas. So for example, from the United States, guests could not book in time. And that's why we didn't have so much foreign tourists registered for this occasion, only 1,000, which is really quite small. Now we have a hunting exhibition for 2 weeks, which is ending in 2 days. And so like we can say, Hungary is open for tourists, and we are looking forward to receive guests from all over. Then let me tell you some activities from our association. We have we got online, just as almost everybody in the last 1.5 years, and we have all kinds of programs. Mostly we have each year, not even before the pandemic, we had this 40 hours language training in main languages for those guides, colleagues who are not using that language as a main language. So a kind of a brush up, what they learned once and they would like to guide in it once, perhaps. Then we had online presentations from members from different countries and sites that they were visiting or they were guiding in previous years, which was a great success. We could travel a little bit, at least for 1 to 2 hours online. Then we started a monthly forums online with a specific professional from tourism. We invite somebody, and then he or she explains or tells us about that certain problem or state or future ideas. In the beginning of summer, we had a lecture for our members in the nearest little neighboring town, artistic town called Szentendre. We were guided through new parts, and it could be a brush up as well for others who knew that part. And we have a special lecture or course, we can say, on Roman ruin site at Aquincum, which is a quite big site of the Roman times in Budapest. So then we have a very special activity, which we even involved both tourist guiding associations. So the MIS was involved as well, because it depends on both of us. We put together a Hungarian tourist guide law, which we had to hand in September to the Hungarian Tourist Agency. And it was a huge work, because we had to meet each week, either online or either offline. It depended how we could manage. It was manageable, easier, of course, online, because then everybody could be reached from different places as well. And we tried to go through the points which of these previous law, which was made about 30 years ago. So it was really time to update it at last and try to keep it as for the next 20 years if it goes so slow to update it. So we need to make it for a longer time. And now we can hope that authorities will stick to our ideas and concepts, because sorry to say, most of the on the top of the stairs are not always the real professionals are sitting or standing. So for this, we had a question to World Federation if we could have any help to support Hungarian tourist guides to emphasize a significant of this law at the Hungarian authorities. Perhaps we could receive a letter or to get in touch with them to, to support us to push a little bit this law. I don't know if it's possible or not, but we would really be looking forward to that. Then we would have some other questions as well, which would appear to the other member states as well. If there would be any statistics on this, that is there any number of this, an approximate number, that how many member tourist guides left the profession because of the pandemic, or how many would come back after that? It would be nice to make a kind of a questionnaire on this that we can know. So, and we had a little success too, not too much, because we were fighting for a lot of support from the government. But at last in June this year, they gave us one-time amount from 219,000 forints, which is not too much. As you see, it's 605 euros or 702 USD dollar. So this is what we could receive, but not automatically, sorry to say, but you had to apply for it.
1 minute, Christine.
Thank you. And it's still a question that you really received the full amount, because I heard from some people they didn't. So, and actually I am on my end, and I would like to say thank you for listening to me. And here you can see my contacts from the association. If you have any questions, then we are looking forward for answering. One more thing, we have research, or not a research, sorry, a kind of a search, a tourist guide search, where you can look up guides on our homepage and you can choose for your guidings. Thank you very much.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Christina, for your story and sharing the journey with us. And I believe you had some questions for the World Federation and asking, hold on. I believe you had questions for the World Federation, Christina.
Yes.
And I would like to ask Viola if these questions could be answered to right now, or should we wait later on?
Not right now. It's really about our Tourist Guide Association members today, but the question I can see on screen are really interesting. So maybe the coming presenters can answer them. So we can have a starting point on how it looks in the associations.
Okay, Viola, and if about this support for the tourist guide law, if you can do anything according to that, we would be really very happy. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very, very much, Christina. And I would like to introduce our next presenter, the Scottish Tourist Guide Association, Lynn Brown. Lynn, the virtual floor is yours. Please unmute.
Yeah, have done so. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone from Scotland. I'd like to say it's a beautiful sunny day, but it's not. It's what we call dreich. It's a bit grey and misty. We're not actually raining. So welcome to this presentation. I'm just about to screen share. Right, hopefully everyone can see this.
We can.
Okay, so yes, 2021 has been an incredibly challenging year, as it has been for everyone. Like most of you, we started the year in full lockdown, absolutely no guiding possible until the end of April. From May, we had some limited guiding opportunities, mainly city walking tours, and that lasted until about the end of July. So it wasn't until August that people started guiding a little bit more and in different ways. As somebody mentioned previously, this has had a devastating effect on incomes. We have 40% of our members who earn more than 60% of their income from guiding. 20% earn 100% of their income from guiding. So as you can imagine, with more than 18 months of nothing, that's been really devastating for them. And to pick up on one of Christina's questions, it has had an effect on our membership. A number of longer serving members have chosen to take this opportunity to retire. They might have been going to anyway in a year's time, but they've decided to do it now. We have a number of members who have become non-practicing, which means they are still members, but their guiding has been suspended. They pay a lesser fee and they're not allowed to guide. And that's to allow them to do other things, to take, for example, other jobs. And we have had members who have resigned because they've had to pick up other employment. So altogether, we've lost about 40 members, I would say. But that's been partly made up by newly qualified guides. And I'll come to that shortly. We have had to adapt to having fewer staff. We have a small number of staff as well as the board, and we've had to adapt to having fewer staff and the remaining staff still working at home. And that does present some challenges. By and large, it works, but we've had to spend a fortune on postage, for example. So instead of handing over papers and badges and other materials, that we've had to post them back and forward. So it does have its implications. The biggest thing for us, I think, has been international travel restrictions, not just the restrictions that governments have put on travel, or the airlines for that matter, but a reluctance on the part of many travellers to fly in particular. And since almost all of our business is with international travellers, and most of them fly to get here, that really has had an impact even after things opened up. But one of our main challenges has been in terms of training and assessment. Everything practical had to be suspended. So we had 2 green badge courses, green badge guides, guide in particular regions only. And we had 2 green badge courses that had finished, but we weren't able to carry out the examinations, so they were delayed. Our blue badge course, the blue badge guides are qualified to guide throughout Scotland. The course that was due to start this August was cancelled, and we had to make multiple adjustments to the course that is currently running. It started in 2020 and finishes next year, and we had to make a huge number of adjustments to that. Whereas throughout the 18 months of the course, the students would normally have a mix of lectures and practical work. There was no outdoor practice at all until this May. And until September, between May and September, we had to hire double the number of coaches because the coach companies had to practice social distancing. So instead of putting 40 people in a coach, we had to put only 20. And we had to employ more mentors to support the students working in smaller groups. The students were doing most things online, most of their learning online. So to introduce a little bit of variety and to ease the pressure for the second part of the course, we brought some of our assessments forward. So they weren't just engaged in listening to lectures, but they were actively involved in carrying out research for some of the assessments that we brought forward. So moving on, our achievements, well, we have survived, and we have survived quite well. There's a tremendous spirit amongst the guides, and although a lot of them have had to make significant changes, we still have a lot of enthusiasm and people really looking forward to getting back to guiding. 29 Green Badge guides have now qualified. They had their exams in the summer. So we have 19 more guides in the North Highlands and 10 in Shetland. And the 2020 to 22 Blue Badge course is now back on track. But it does mean that this period between September and next February is really, really intense with regional studies and practical guiding skills, because they couldn't do any of that in the first few months. And really, the biggest achievement, I think, really is that guides are beginning to get work again. It's been very, very slow, as previous presenters have mentioned. And at the moment, for us, it is largely the domestic market. It's only literally in the last 3 or 4 weeks that we have seen a small number of visitors from America and some from Europe. Those from Europe tend to be traveling independently. Those from America tend to be coming from cruise ships. There are very limited number of cruise ships that are beginning to dock at Scottish ports. So for some people, that's they haven't started working again because cruise ships is a big part of their business. But some of our driver guides are guiding again, and we have had some coach tours and plenty of walking tours. We have managed to run a full programme of online CPD, that's continuing professional development. I know it has different terms in different countries. So our guides have been able to keep up with their learning and improving their professional knowledge. And that's been very welcomed. We have had upwards of 100 each of the CPD sessions. That's from just over 500 members. So it's been a very positive initiative. And it's something that we will probably keep going over the winter months, even when things return to normal. A lot of innovation from our guides, blogs, podcasts, online and virtual tours, really innovative stuff from some individuals. And the Glasgow and Edinburgh branches in particular have developed new themed walking tours that they advertised online for really local people who thoroughly enjoyed them. We have updated the guide search on our website because we no longer have a manual booking service. That was one of the casualties of the downturn in membership income. So we have updated the guide search facility on the website, and it should be a bit more user-friendly now. So people don't just search for guides, they can put in the dates they want them, the type of tour they're looking for, and the length of tour, whether it's half a day or a 5-day tour. We've been quite successful in bidding for funding. I'm glad to say there's been a lot of hard work gone into that, but we have been successful. One of the really good things was a grant from Skills Development Scotland. That's basically our careers service. And that grant allowed us to purchase the Tour Talk system. And that's been really useful when the guides started to go out and about, when students started to go out and about, but still had to maintain 2 meters social distancing. Very difficult to talk to a group, even a small group of 8, if they are all 2 meters apart.
1 minute.
Okay, that's fine because I'm on the last slide. We've been successful in achieving government funding. One fund we used to upgrade the website. The marketing fund, the second one here, we are about to embark on a campaign to try and attract more domestic visitors over the winter. And the best one of all was the Tour Guides Fund, which gave individual guides who applied for it, you had to apply, upwards of £5,000 each, which was a big boost to some of them. And we had a big role to play in lobbying for that fund. And our next steps, we are moving to a smaller office because we don't need the one we're in any longer. We will be taking part in the Scotland's Calling campaign. It's a Visit Scotland campaign aimed at the international market. That's very important to us, so we will be promoting that. And 2022 is the Year of Scotland Stories. That's the theme for the year. What do we do as guides? We tell stories. So we're really looking forward to getting involved in that and publicising what we do. So thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Lynn. That was wonderful. I love the telling stories campaign that you're going to have next year. That's wonderful. We look forward to that, because we are storytellers.
Yeah.
And what you have done is shared that story to us. So thank you for that. Do we have any questions for Lynn in our chat? Viola, is there anyone who has any particular question?
Not as far as I can see. No
The
question.
Scottish Tourist Guide Association. Any of the presenters have questions? Okay, as we move along, we're going now to a country very close to Scotland. We're going to London, a city so known to everyone. The Professional Tourist Guides of London is represented by Danny Parlour, chairperson.
Thank
Danny?
you, Marika. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you to WFTGA for holding this event again. Some of you might already know me. I was speaking on behalf of the APTG last January 2021. Very different back then. I was in Wales with family in lockdown, but moved in March, and I'm now talking to you from Camden in North London. So I have a brief presentation to share with you. Okay, can you all see the title page clearly?
Yes, we can.
Great, thank you. Okay, so again, greetings to all of you from London, UK. We are the Association of Professional Tourist Guides for London Blue Badge Tourist Guides. And we're a 30-year-old regional guiding association in the UK. Our number of members has kind of gone up and down during the pandemic, maybe down 10, but plus 20, which is great. And we've been spending a lot of the time this year, since January, as always, working with the other national guiding associations that London Blue Badge Tourist Guides have a stake in as well. The ITG, the British Guild of Tourist Guides, and the DGA. What we've spent most of this time doing is really working on what I describe as what we can control. Our members have at various times struggled financially and mentally, but actually I'm pleased to say, if I'm looking back, our guiding association, our guideline and website has blossomed in this time. We've been spending a lot of time filling it with content. We have over 400 blog posts. We've been adding to our YouTube channel, and our website is where you can book us guides, of course. Our members continue to deliver virtual tours. So for the last 3 months, guides have been delivering more in-person tours. I've had a couple of tours this month. I had maybe 4 or 5 last month. Slowly getting a bit bigger and better. In London, everything's open, but our theatres, our restaurants, our museums, maybe 5 days a week rather than 7 days a week. And that's due to some staff issues and supply issues, of course, which you've been reading about on the news. But about 5 to 10% of our members still deliver virtual tours. And we thought about what content has already been delivered, and actually 18 of our guides are published authors. So we pulled them all together and produced this blog post for the website. So that's just to help members to be able to be supported, but with another hat, from publishing book sales. And we also, in March 2021, we celebrated a year of live broadcasts on our Guide London YouTube channel, which we were really pleased about. Before March 2020, we only had 2 videos on our YouTube channel. And just yesterday, we celebrated 100 videos to watch. And that's now generating a very small income for our guiding association, maybe £100 so far. And in June 2021, we launched a mini series for our YouTube channel, the Guide London A to Z project. And this has been really popular. We basically set the challenge to 26 of our guides to, really tell London's story in a random way. So popular and interesting places in London that start with the letter A, but just in 5 minutes. So quite a lot to condense, but us guides are good at doing that, of course. But this is something that we've produced on YouTube, and then blog posts and guides. The guides delivering this content are delivering it on their own social media as well. And this is something any country could do. And I'd really recommend it. It's a really fun way to get your stories across in a short way. So I won't play the video, but there's a bit of a teaser for you. So if you head to the Guide London YouTube channel, you can check it out. We'd be very grateful if you did so. In terms of supporting members, so many of our members, many of our 550 guides have other skills. So we created an internal business directory with links to their websites or just WhatsApp. Or so the idea is to support our colleagues in other ways so that they can still remain in this industry and that they don't leave it altogether. We formed a partnership with Tickets earlier this year. They're a massive ticket provider in the world, and they've been fantastic. And we've secured a deal with them where if our members buy tickets through them, through Tickets, our guiding association will receive commission from that, and then half of that commission will be shared, will be kept by the association, and half will be sent to the member that bought the tickets in the first place. So if you want me to put you in contact with the person I know at Tickets, I'd be very happy to do so. And we are a member of Unite the Union, who help enable us to maintain a decent living here in London. They've been great during the pandemic, and they've reduced our members' monthly payments to them by 3/4. So we now only pay £4.06 each a month. And our members were out protesting on, let's see, on 23rd of June in support of the travel industry. So yeah, very pleased to see them out campaigning. What we've been struggling with the most is, well, during this time, we've now got better relationship with the UK government, but you know, their hardline Brexit stance isn't exactly helping. Young EU visitors come and visit. They still need a passport, which is an added extra cost, but it's an ongoing battle. But we really want young European visitors to be able to make educational visits. We would love to show you the best of London, but it's difficult at this moment, but we're working on it. We're going to, of course, put the message out, but the best place to go also would be the Great Britain, visitbritain.com website, where you can find out more about how to make an educational visit to London and the UK. And it's not just been us pushing this and shouting about this. National newspapers have been writing about it as well. It's worth noting 80% of our 550 members can guide in English. They're qualified to guide in English, but half of our members are also qualified to guide in at least one more language. So yeah, it's really important to us London Blue Badge tourist guides. In July earlier this year, we welcomed the latest bunch or class of trainee Blue Badge tourist guides to a nice reception in Mayfair, which we got at a discount through a member of ours. And we always hold this just before they're about to get their results. So we tell them, we invite them, we tell them about our guiding association and chat to them, wish them well for the results, and fingers crossed they pass, and then they'll join our guiding association. So yeah, something I'd recommend everyone does as well, especially that kind of time, that kind of golden time before the end of your exams and when you're awaiting results. This is my colleague Maria talking about language members in our guiding association. And then we had a nice drinks reception. Yeah, fantastically, only cost, I think, a few £100. And in August earlier this year, Sarah Wood and I held a trade show to encourage group travel to London. And we've been doing social events just to, you know, try and keep each other's spirits up. So we had a picnic for all members in St. James's Park. And again, for all new members from the last 3 classes in September 2021 in Kensington Gardens, you can just make out Kensington Palace in the background, a 300-year-old palace where Princess Diana lived for the last 15 years of her life. And just last month in September, we finally were able to give a graduation ceremony to the Blue Badge tourist guides who graduated in 2020. So they were overwhelmed, I think, to be able to do this finally and get their official graduation photographs. And this was held in above the Stag Theatre, the only LGBT specific theatre in London. And we've finally been able to hold in-person CPDs again. So where our members who specialise in a certain area, a certain tour, say Legal London or Harry Potter, they will then teach the other colleagues how to do that tour. So this is what we've been providing over September and October. But I really just want to finish by saying London is open to visitors now. It might be hard to get here, but know that we really want to guide you. And if you want to taste, we're really happy to provide you with a tour in person first, online first, before you can visit in person. So thanks again for listening, and best wishes to all of you from around the world. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Danny. Thank you for that. I have been to many of your virtual tours on YouTube.
Oh, great.
So, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Learned a lot. Very nice. Thank you. Okay. Do we have any questions for Danny, if ever, on the chat? If not, if the presenters have any questions for Danny. Okay. If not, we move along to Moscow. Let us go. Thank you. Russian Tourist Guide Association is represented by Elena. Elena, the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you so much, dear colleagues. And of course, I would like to greet you from Moscow, to send you the best wishes from the management of our association, personally from Marina Kresova and Alexander Osipov. And of course, I would like to share today with you our achievements for this period of time. So I will try to share now my presentation. So can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Wonderful, great. So let me put it like, okay, just like this one. Okay, so the point is that we decided to make this journey, I would say quite a short journey, because the last journey was in January 2021, and it was the presentation by Marina Kresova, our vice president. So she presented some of the achievements which we had the previous time, and they were mainly dedicated to the great event which we celebrated last year, 75th anniversary since the victory over Nazi, 1941-1945. And this period of time, from January up to now, up to October of this year, we decided to be more precise with the domestic travel priorities. So, first of all, we would like to share with you with a very interesting project which our guides participated. It was called the Moscow Tourist Guide. It was provided for the school boys and school girls, over 2,000 participants from different schools with the special learning of foreign languages. And 10 of our guides, guide trainers, I was one of them, participated in this training. Now you can see in this presentation how it was actually arranged. I put some small pieces from my presentation, for example. That was our list, which we normally use in the beginning of each session with our students, young students, and some of the parts of the presentations which we provided for every lesson. So we participated according to the project which was initiated by the Department of Education Professional Online Orientation Project. And the themes which we discussed with our students were the history of Moscow and the history of Moscow hospitality, architectural masterpieces of Moscow, sports in Moscow, achievements and future. So we did through the virtual bus, we passed all the city, and believe me, that was an amazing journey and amazing experience, not only for the students, but also for us, for the guides as well. The second very interesting point is for our local domestic trails, that we started to reach new destinations and sites of training and guiding. And first of all, I would like to present two big projects, two big parks in Moscow, VDNH and Luzhniki Park. And for example, Luzhniki Park had celebrated this year 65 years since its foundation, and VDNH celebrated 80 years since its foundation last year. So we did not only trainings, but also some special attending of different meetings, and now our guides are able to provide excursions on the territory of both VDNH Park and Luzhniki Park. VDNH Park, it's an amazing park because it has got a lot of possibilities like space fountains, space pavilions, fountains, technologies, then the special areas which are provided for the visitors to have some leisure activities as well, and Luzhniki Park as well. The next destination and the next very important thing which happened in this period of time in our association, of course, approval of the state law of regulation on guides profession. We have been working for this law over 10 years, and finally we achieved the result. As you can see here, it was many stages, hearings. First of all, it started in our State Duma, then Federal Council, so lower and upper chambers of our parliament. Then it was sent to our president to be signed. And finally, in August 2021, we received the result. We received this new law about the regulations of guides profession. Key points of this law, which we received and were so happy that they have been accepted according to our vision. Professional education, it should be professional education of all guides, then Russian citizenship, and attestation of guiding professional guides with the special expert council. So this is what we wanted to achieve, and finally we achieved, thanks to Marina and Sasha, who actively participated in this process by contacting with our State Duma. Of course, 30th anniversary of our association, it was a huge, big event for us. And the main point was to provide some extra facilities, some extra new videos with our YouTube channel. We started to develop this channel 2 years ago, and this year we made some more videos. One of them, as you can see, it was an interview with the leaders of our association, with Marina, Sasha, the executive director of our association, Yelena Tikhonova. It was very interesting, and a lot of guides were able to watch it and to see. And also we made some portraits of our guides, as you can see from here, the guides who really actually present our association. And the next journey, of course, it's a new graduates of 2020, 2021. Of course, it was a special ceremony. And as you can see here, we also made some small videos because every language had provided its own presentation, or I would say greetings, on behalf of the new guides. And also you can see here a very nice atmosphere when even Sasha Osipov, the president of our association, greeted the new guides, and that was the new safe travel in the new reality, to work with the new reality. The reality was connected with the pandemic situation. And also our guides participated in annually professional competitions, Moscow Master and Expert, and Introduce Moscow this year, 2021. And you can see here some pictures, and moreover, we placed all videos because the condition of this competition was to provide short videos. So our guides, they made these short videos, and we placed all of them with our YouTube channel, so everybody was able to see it. And And we're so proud that as for the best guide, all 3 positions were given to the members of our association. The members and we're so happy who were able to speak not only Russian, also French language, English language, and some other language as well. And for the day, International Guide Days, also you can see there were some special excursions provided for Moscow citizenships as well. Also, I would like to tell you and to share with you a very interesting event which happened recently in the beginning of October 2021, ICPC Final Moscow Championship of 2021. You can see here pictures of our guides who participated on behalf of our association in the excursion program tours around Moscow city center and Moscow Kremlin. You see, this event is very important, and Moscow, it was the first time for Moscow when Moscow hosted this world most prestigious competition of young talents in the field of IT, and also the algorithmic programming of the different ways. So guides, along with the new platform, which we call Ruspass, provided these excursions. And I hope that it was quite a good experience, because for the last 2 seasons we did not have practically did not have tourists in our city, but nevertheless for us it was like a fresh air, because we were able to communicate with the people from 42 countries. So that's it from my side. And I would like to tell you that our association still is focusing on domestic travel opportunities, and we are going to continue. For example, at the end of this year, we are going to start with the new graduates who are going to join to our profession at the end of this year, and then to pass exams with the future year. So thank you very much. That's it from my side.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much, Elena. That was wonderful. Good to hear so many positive stories that is moving forward now to 2021.
We did our best. Thank you very much, America. We did our best.
Wonderful. Thank you. Keep it up. Okay, and now in conclusion, we will move now to Canada. The Association of Professional Guides of Quebec. Claude Beauchamp, President. Thank you.
Quebec City is the oldest city in North America, North America, north to Mexico. And to start this presentation, few words about this, the AGTQ, Association des Guides Touristiques de Québec. The association was created in 1993, and all our actions are based on a strategic plan. And it's because we have a strategic plan that this strategic plan is part of our DNA that we were able to read, to react, and to act to support our 250 members during this last 20 months, and to encourage them to continue as a tour guide. The first orientation of this strategic plan is the strategic positioning of the AGTQ. For us, it's very important to be involved in the tourism community and to develop efficient relations with authorities and other partners. So, because we are active at the round table responsible for revising the regulations relating to guide license, tour guide license in Quebec City, we have acquired the creation of a joint committee, City and AGTQ, for applying the regulation of tour guide license. And we have also developed active and fruitful partnership with tourism community to promote post-pandemic employment for our members. And we have also obtained from the city the reduction from $50 to $10 of the 2021 city guide permit. And the most important, we have obtained 2 subsidies totaling $25,000 from Quebec Tourist Office for 2 ad campaigns to promote on social networks to promote guided tours, which generated jobs for our members. Just forgot to share the screen. Sorry about that. Okay, the second orientation is our active and representative membership. We have a strong participation.
Sorry, Claude,
of
you're
members.
still not sharing the screen.
Hmm? So I will, if you accept, I will continue without the PowerPoint. Sorry about that. The second orientation is our active membership. We have a strong participation of our members, and 80% of them attended our last General Assembly and read our newsletter. And it should be noted, about 3/4 of active guides in Quebec City are members of our association. And in the context of the pandemic, we have multiplied online initiatives to inform, reassure, and support our members, as, for example, a survey to better understand the concerns and expectations of our members regarding the pandemic, an information workshop with a tax expert on financial assistance program set up by governments of Canada, and publications of a lot of newsletters, 58 newsletters, including 24 of them exclusively dedicated to informations and guides, concerns related to the pandemic. And this year, because of this damn pandemic, we made a special point of celebrating the International Tourist Guide Day in last February. And we have solicited and obtained a message of appreciation and support from 12 public figures from the 3 levels of government and also from the tourism industry. The third orientation is an important part of our mainstream, the competence of our guides. For us, the basic training of 150 hours to obtain the first guide license is not sufficient. And if you want to offer visitors an optimal tourist experience, we have to be up to date and perfect our knowledge. And to provide our members with high quality continuing education at an affordable price, we have negotiated an agreement with St. Lawrence College, which allow us to offer training activities at the cost of $1 per hour. So half our members attended our training activities in 2021. And by improving their competence, our members remain interested to continue as a tour guide despite of the pandemic. And always concerning the competence of our guides, since the start of 2020, continuing education activities have multiplied, first in the classroom and then online. We have had 5 in-room lectures, bringing together 40 participants, 6 English conversation workshops, 3 first aid courses, and 10 virtual lectures. So we have also partnerships with other associations interested in the history and in Quebec City. And fourth orientation, and it's important, tight and efficient management. In the past month, we have invested to improve our management system thanks to a new platform that facilitates our accounting operation, member renewal, registration, etc. And more important, we have invested to preserve our corporate memory with the implementation of a new documentation system. So it was quite a job to analyze nearly 2,000 paper documents, to process and scan 100 of them and to classify them in a new documentation system. So we are proud of the action we have had in the last 20 months to support our members. I'm so sorry that I was unable to show you the presentation, but I think it will be available from the WFTGA. So thank you from Québec City.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Claude, for that presentation and the update. So with that, we are now going to conclude, unless we have questions, please, on the chat or from the presenters. Could you please, the floor is open for a quick chat. Mary, do you have a question? Okay. Okay, great. So I hand it off now to our hosts, Viola and Sebastian, to conclude this webinar. Viola?
Thank you very much, Marika, and thank you very much, everybody, to our presenters. Claude, it was a pleasure listening to you, even so there was no presentation, quite refreshing. And really, I hope you enjoyed the journey through the world again, popping in, visiting our association members. This was session 2. Session 3 of our, Sebastian just saying as well, session 3 of our association journey will be on Friday at 9 o'clock Vienna time. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you can find the links in Guidelines International and also on our website. That will lead you to our website. And really, before I hand over to Sebastian, would like to conclude by also giving you the warm wishes from our president, Alushka Ritchie, who apologizes for not being with us today due to other commitments, but she is with us in spirit and sends her wishes. So thanks again, everybody, for investing the time, for contributing, for listening, and for being part of the WFTGA family. Thank you.
Best wishes. Bye-bye.
So
Thank you.
I have to say
so
the
much.
final
Bye-bye.
words.
Bye-bye.
Just bye-bye to everybody. Watch us on Facebook, on YouTube, and everywhere. And I think today I realized one thing. When I watched the presentations, there had been a few about the digitalization process and what's going on inside the associations and how we can help the others. I think what we definitely need is all those technical people, we have to bring them together to help the other associations who are struggling with technical problems. What we can do in the boards everywhere to get more people in, the generation problems. I think we have the same problems like in the society or in politics with the digitalization transformation and all that. And it's great. We have a lot of members out there. So let's bring them together. And what I can tell you that in the expo, we have talked about exactly that we want, what can we do with the next convention? How can we prepare that? So be aware, there will be something coming in November where we try to bring us together to talk about all these topics. So exactly what happens everywhere also happens in the associations. We will take care about that. Thank you for sharing all this and for watching us and for forwarding our links and all that. We'll see you on Friday or in the next TGAT, global chat, whatever. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Thanks, Marika, Viola, and all the presenters. Bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye. Thanks for all your technical expertise, Sebastian.